The dim hospital room reeked of antiseptic and fading life, where shadows clung to the walls like unspoken regrets. In the bed, an old man named Elias Hawthorne gasped for breath, his bony fingers trembling around a yellowed photograph that captured a young woman with laughing eyes and windswept hair from decades ago. As the door creaked open and a stranger, a volunteer nurse named Claire, entered with a tray of water, Elias's eyes locked onto her face, and in a voice cracked by years and sorrow, he whispered, "Please, stay. Pretend you're her. Just for a little while." Clara froze, her heart pounding. She was only 25, fresh out of nursing school, assigned to this hospice ward as part of her community service. The man before her looked like he could be her grandfather, his skin paper-thin and veined like a map of forgotten roads. But there was something in his gaze, desperate, pleading, that rooted her to the spot. She set the tray down gently, glancing at the photo he held so tightly. The woman in it bore a faint resemblance to her. Same dark curls, same warm smile. "Sir, I'm not sure what you mean," she stammered, but Elias reached out a frail hand, brushing her wrist. "Her name was Lily," he rasped, his chest heaving with each word. "My daughter. She left when she was your age. Angry at the world, at me. I drove her away with my stubbornness, my failures as a father." Tears welled in his clouded eyes, spilling over cheeks etched by time. Clara hesitated, then pulled up a chair, her training kicking in compassion above all. But this felt different, personal. As she sat, Elias began to speak, his voice weaving a tapestry of memories that pulled her in like a current. It started in the summer of 1965, in a small town nestled in the Appalachian Hills. Elias was a coal miner, young and strong, with a wife named Margaret who baked apple pies that could mend any heartache. They had Lily, their only child, a bundle of energy with freckles like stars across her nose. Life was hard, the mines swallowed men whole, and Elias came home each night covered in black dust, coughing up pieces of his future. But Lily was his light. She'd run to him, hugging his legs despite the grime, chattering about school and dreams of seeing the ocean. As the years rolled on, the town changed. The mines closed one by one, jobs vanished, and Elias turned to drink to drown the bitterness. Margaret pleaded with him to stop, but he lashed out, his words sharp as shattered glass. One night, after a particularly brutal argument, Lily, then 16, packed a bag and slipped away under the cover of darkness. She left a note. "I can't watch you destroy us anymore. I'll find my own way." Elias searched for weeks, but she was gone, swallowed by the wider world. Margaret never recovered. She withered like a flower in drought, dying of a broken heart 2 years later. Elias was left alone in the empty house, haunted by echoes of laughter and the slam of a door. He moved to the city, took odd jobs, but the guilt festered like an open wound. Decades passed in isolation, until cancer claimed his body, mirroring the rot in his soul. Clara listened, her eyes misting. She had her own scars, abandoned by her parents as a teen, bouncing through foster homes. Pretending to be someone's daughter? It stirred something deep, a longing she'd buried. "What happened to her?" she asked softly. Elias shook his head. "I don't know. I hired detectives, scoured records, but nothing. This photo is all I have taken on her 15th birthday. She looks just like you." He paused, coughing violently, and Clara handed him water, her hand lingering on his. "Will you pretend? Tell me about your life as if it were hers. Give an old fool some peace." She nodded, surprising herself. "Okay. Hi, Dad. It's me, Lily." The words felt awkward at first, but as she spoke, inventing tales of adventures traveling to California, becoming a teacher, marrying a kind man named Tom, they flowed easier. Elias's face lit up, his breath steadying. He shared more stories, teaching Lily to fish in the creek, her first bike ride, the way she'd sing off-key to the radio. Hours slipped by. Nurses came and went, but Clara stayed, weaving a fictional reunion. She described grandchildren he'd never meet, holidays filled with joy. Elias laughed weakly, then cried, clutching the photo tighter. "I missed you so much," he murmured. "Forgive me." "I do," Clara whispered, meaning it for both of them. As night fell, Elias's condition worsened. Monitors beeped erratically, and doctors hovered. Clara held his hand, continuing the pretense. "Remember that Christmas when we built the snowman?" she said. drawing from her own fragmented memories. But then, a twist arrived unannounced. The door opened again, and an older woman entered, red-gray-haired, with eyes like the girl in the photo. "Dad?" she said, voice trembling. It was Lily, real and alive, tracked down by a hospice social worker after Elias's admission records flagged her name in old databases. Clara gasped, stepping back. Lily rushed to the bed, tears streaming. "I came as soon as I heard. I'm sorry I stayed away so long." Elias's eyes widened in disbelief. "Lily, my girl." He reached for her, the photo fluttering to the floor. Clara watched, heart swelling with a mix of joy and ache. She had been a bridge, a temporary salve, but now the real healing could begin. As mother and daughter know, father and daughter united, Clara slipped out, her role complete. Yet, in pretending, she had found a piece of her own lost family. But the night wasn't over. Elias's breaths grew shallower, and Lily turned to Clara in the hallway. "Who are you?" she asked. "Just a visitor," Clara replied. "But he thought I was you." Lily nodded, understanding dawning. "Thank you for giving him that." In the days that followed, as Elias clung to life, Clara returned, no longer pretending. She became a friend to both. Listening to their reconciliations, the regrets poured out like rain. Elias shared wisdom earned through pain. Life's too short for grudges. Hold on to love, even when it hurts. Clara absorbed it, applying it to her own life. She reached out to her estranged foster siblings, mending bridges she'd thought burned. One evening, Elias called them both close. "You've given me more than I deserve," he said. "Lily, my real daughter. Clara, my borrowed one. You've shown me redemption is possible." As his eyes closed for the last time, peace settled over his face. The photograph, now framed beside his bed, symbolized not loss, but connection reclaimed. In the aftermath, Lily and Clara formed an unlikely bond, two women shaped by absence, now united by a dying man's plea. They scattered his ashes in the Appalachian Hills, where it all began, vowing to live with open hearts. The story of Elias taught the man, perhaps the world, that forgiveness isn't just given, it's pretended into existence until it becomes real. Human connections, fragile as old photos, endure through acts of kindness, even from strangers. The funeral was a quiet affair, held in the same small town Elias had fled decades ago. Lily stood by the grave, wind whipping her coat, as Clara placed a bouquet of wildflowers, lilies, of course, in the fresh earth. "He'd have liked this," Clara said, her voice soft against the rustling leaves. But as they turned to leave, a man approached, hat in hand, his face weathered like old leather. "You Lily Hawthorne?" he asked. "I'm Jack, your father's old mining buddy. Got something for you." Jack handed over a dusty envelope, sealed with wax. Inside was a letter from Elias, written in shaky script, and a key. "He gave this to me years ago, said to find you if he couldn't." Lily's hands trembled as she read. "My dear Lily, if you're reading this, I've gone. But there's a cabin in the hills, our old summer spot. It's yours now. And Clara, if she's there, tell her she's family too." The revelation hit like a wave. Elias had never truly given up. He'd preserved a piece of their past, hoping for this moment. Lily looked at Clara. "Come with me. Let's see what he left." They drove up winding roads, the cabin emerging like a ghost from the mist, boarded up but sturdy, surrounded by overgrown pines. Unlocking the door released a flood of memories: faded curtains, a stone fireplace, shelves lined with books Lily had loved as a child. But in the center, on a table, sat a box labeled "For My Girls." Inside were letters, hundreds of them, unsent, chronicling Elias's life after Lily left. Apologies, stories, even clippings of news he thought she'd like. "I wrote one every month," the first letter explained, "hoping one day I'd have the courage to mail them." Clara wiped tears as they read aloud by the fire they kindled. Elias's voice echoed through the pages. Regrets over his anger, pride in imaginary achievements he dreamed for Lily, confessions of loneliness. One letter stood out. "If I could turn back time, I'd listen more, yell less. But know this, I never stopped loving you." As night deepened, a storm rolled in, thunder shaking the cabin. Huddled together, Lily shared her side. Running away to the city, struggling through jobs, marrying young and divorcing younger. "I was so angry," she admitted. but I missed him every day. Clara opened up to her parents' abandonment, the void it left. Pretending to be you. It filled something in me. The twist deepened when they found a hidden compartment in the box, a locket with Margaret's photo and a note. Margaret knew you'd come back. She made me promise to keep this safe. Inside the locket was a tiny map, leading to a buried time capsule under the oak tree outside. Digging in the rain, they unearthed a metal tin filled with treasures. Lily's childhood drawings, a pressed flower from her first dance, Elias's mining badge. But nestled among them was a birth certificate, not Lily's, but Clara's. Wait, not Hat couldn't be. Clara stared, confused. The certificate was for a girl named Clara Ellis, born the same year as her, but with a notation, adopted from Hawthorne family records. Lily gasped. Dad, did he know? A final letter in the tin explained. Elias had an affair during his darkest days, resulting in a child given up for adoption. Clara. He'd tracked her through the years, but never interfered, ashamed. If fate brings you together, he wrote, know your sisters. My blood, my redemption. The shock rippled through them. Clara, the stranger who pretended, was no stranger at all. Sisters by blood, united by chance. They embraced in the mud, rain mixing with tears, laughter bubbling through the pain. In the weeks that followed, they restored the cabin, turning it into a home. Lily, a successful editor in New York, took sabbatical to stay. Clara quit her nursing job, enrolling in writing classes inspired by Elias's letters. They uncovered more. Elias had donated anonymously to orphanages, perhaps atonement for Clara. His life, once seen as wasted, revealed layers of quiet goodness. One day, a secondary character emerged unexpectedly, a young boy named Tim, the neighbor's grandson, who wandered over. Grandpa said this place was haunted by a sad man, he said. But as they shared stories, Tim's eyes widened. His grandfather was Jack, and he revealed Jack had been Elias's confidant, helping hide the letters. Tim became their little helper, reminding them of youthful innocence. Through him, they saw Elias's humanistic legacy, teaching kindness to the next generation. As seasons changed, the sisters bonded deeply. Lily taught Clara to cook Margaret's recipes. Clara showed Lily how to forgive. They visited Elias's grave often, leaving letters of their own. But shadows lingered. Clara struggled with the revelation. Why hadn't Elias reached out? Anger flared, but Lily soothed. He was flawed, like us. But he loved fiercely. In a climactic moment, they held a memorial gathering at the cabin, inviting old townsfolk. Stories poured out. Elias helping widows, funding scholarships secretly. His dying plea wasn't just selfish. It was a catalyst for truth. Clara addressed the group. He asked me to pretend, but in the end, we all pretend to be stronger, kinder. The real value is in dropping the pretense and embracing our humanity. As guests left, the sisters sat by the fire, the photograph now in a frame between them. To Dad, Lily toasted. For bringing us home. Years blended like watercolors after the cabin discovery. Lily and Clara turned it into a retreat for lost souls, foster kids, estranged families, naming it Hawthorne Haven. It became a beacon, funded by Elias's hidden savings unearthed in bank records. But peace was fragile. Old wounds reopened when a letter arrived from Clara's adoptive parents, stirred by news of the haven. We saw your story in the paper, it read. We regret giving you up. Can we meet? Clara's hands shook. She'd built a new life, but curiosity and anger not. Lily urged caution. They're part of your past, but we're your present. They met in a neutral cafe, the couple aged and remorseful. We were young, scared, the mother explained. Elias arranged the adoption quietly, paid for everything. Clara learned Elias had checked on her sporadically, sending anonymous gifts. It humanized him further, not a monster, but a man torn by mistakes. Forgiveness came slowly, in layers. Clara invited them to the haven, where they volunteered, mending their own regrets. It emphasized the story's core, humanity's capacity for change. A new twist introduced Dr. Harlan, a psychiatrist volunteering at the haven. Gruff and insightful, he arrived unannounced, claiming Elias as an old patient. He came to me for therapy in his later years, Harlan revealed. Tormented by guilt. I encouraged the letters. Harlan brought recordings Elias's sessions, raw and vulnerable. Listening, The sisters heard his pain. I lost one daughter, hit another. What kind of father am I? It shifted perspectives, showing Elias's internal battles. Harlan became a mentor, helping residents in Clara with trauma. His own secret. He'd lost a child to illness, drawn to the haven for healing. This unexpected ally deepened emotions, highlighting interconnected lives. As the haven grew, challenges arose. A fire threatened the cabin one dry summer, sparked by lightning. Residents evacuated, but Clara rushed back for the box of letters. Trapped by flames, she coughed in smoke, clutching the tin. Lily screamed her name, but Harlan dove in, pulling Clara out just as beams collapsed. Singed, but safe, they watched firefighters save most of the structure. Why risk it? Lily asked. Those letters are Dad's heart, Clara said. Our heart. Rebuilding strengthened bonds. Tim, now a teen, organized fundraisers, his energy infectious. He confided in Clara, my parents fight like your dad did. I don't want to run away. Clara shared Elias's story, teaching Tim communications value. It rippled outward. Residents mended relationships, embodying humanistic ideals. One winter, Lily fell ill echoing Elias's cancer. Fear gripped Clara, but it was caught early, treatable. During chemo, Clara pretended strength, just as she'd pretended for Elias. I'm here, she whispered. Your borrowed sister. Lily recovered, their bond unbreakable. They co-authored a book, Pretend Until It's Real, chronicling their journey. It became a bestseller, spreading messages of forgiveness and connection. At a book signing, an elderly woman approached. I knew your mother, Margaret, she said. She was my best friend. The woman, Aunt Rose, revealed untold tales. Margaret's quiet strength, her hopes for Lily. Another layer Margaret had known about Clara, forgiving Elias in silence. Rose joined the haven, adding grandmotherly wisdom. Her presence emphasized life's surprises, twisting narratives anew. As time passed, Clara married a kind teacher, having a daughter named Lily Margaret. Lily found love too, with Harlan unexpected romance blooming from shared grief. On Elias's death anniversary, they gathered at the grave. You asked me to pretend, Clara said aloud. But you gave us reality. The haven thrived, a testament to one man's plea rippling into waves of healing. In quiet moments, Clara clutched the old photograph, now including new faces. Human values compassion, redemption endured, proving even in death, love pretends nothing, it simply is. But whispers of more secrets lingered. A distant relative contacted them, hinting at Elias's wartime past, medals hidden, heroism unspoken. It promised new twists, new understandings. The relative's call unearthed a trunk in the cabin's attic, Elias's war relics from World War II. Medals for bravery, letters from comrades, a journal detailing horrors he'd never shared. Your father saved my father's life in Normandy, the cousin explained. But the war broke him, leading to his anger. This revelation reframed Elias, not just flawed, but scarred by trauma. PTSD explained his drinking, his outbursts. Clara and Lily pored over the journal, tears flowing. He carried this alone, Lily murmured. They honored it by expanding the haven to include veteran programs, partnering with therapists like Harlan. Residents with similar burdens found solace, echoing Elias's unspoken plea for understanding. A secondary twist arrived with Sophia, a young veteran interning at the haven. Sharp-witted and guarded, she bonded with Tim, now mentoring kids. But Sophia harbored a secret. She was searching for her biological family, DNA tests leading her here. Elias, he might be my grandfather, she confessed one stormy night. Tests confirmed. Sophia was Clara's half-niece, from a brief relationship Elias had post-war. Another hidden child, another layer of complexity. Sophia's arrival injected fresh emotion, anger at abandonment, but gratitude for the haven. Clara embraced her. We're all pretenders here, until we're family. Sophia's military discipline strengthened the programs, her stories inspiring resilience. Challenges mounted. Funding dipped during economic downturns, threatening closure. Clara rallied, organizing galas with book proceeds. At one event, her adoptive parents donated generously, full circle redemption. Tim, grown into a young man, proposed a documentary on the haven. Filming unearthed more Interviews with townsfolk revealing Elias's quiet philanthropy paying medical bills, funding educations anonymously. The film premiered to acclaim, drawing donors. But fame brought scrutiny. A reporter dug into Elias's affair, sensationalizing it. Lily faced backlash. "How can you forgive?" In a poignant interview, she replied, "Forgiveness isn't erasure, it's freedom. Dad taught us that through his mistakes." Harlan proposed to Lily under the oak tree, ring hidden in the time capsule spot. Their wedding at the Havens celebrated unity, with Rose officiating, Sophia as bridesmaid, Tim best man. Clara's daughter, little Lily Margaret, toddled about, symbolizing new beginnings. She clutched a toy photo frame, mimicking the old one, innocence mirroring legacy. As years advanced, the sisters aged gracefully. Clara took over daily operations. Lily traveled promoting the book. They co-wrote a sequel, delving into Elias's war journal, humanizing veteran struggles. One autumn, Aunt Rose passed peacefully, leaving a will gifting land to expand the haven. Her funeral reunited extended family, including the cousin, forging new ties. Sophia found love, starting a family branch. Her child, named Elias, played in the hills, echoes of the past. In quiet reflection, Clara visited the grave alone. "You asked me to pretend," she whispered, "but you made it all real. Sisters, daughters, a legacy of love." The wind carried her words, as if Elias listened. The humanistic essence shone. One act of kindness, a stranger staying, sparked chains of connection, proving humanity's depth lies in vulnerability shared. As the sun set, Clara returned to the cabin, where laughter filled the air. The photograph, now in a gallery wall with new additions, told a story not of loss, but of lives intertwined. Yet, a final envelope arrived from Elias's lawyer, timed release. Inside, "If you found all this, know there's more. A trust fund for the haven, and my last wish. Keep pretending kindness until the world believes it's true." They did, expanding globally, workshops on forgiveness worldwide. In the end, Elias's dying whisper wasn't an end, but a beginning testament to human spirit's endurance. Through drama, twists, and tears, values of empathy and redemption prevailed, reminding all, in pretending to care, we often discover we truly do.